It's time for Gun and Saddle, a United Country M. Edwards Realty and Land weekly broadcast where we talk about anything and everything related to our God-fearing country lifestyles and the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to make them possible. Join Monty Edwards and Pierce Lancaster as they take a deeper look at the land we all love and the people that call it home. This is Gun and Saddle.
Hey guys, we're back again with another episode of Gun and Saddle, and today I got a special treat. I've been trying for a while to get Carrie to join us here. Carrie is I have to kind of make her want to do these interviews online and stuff. She's not a glory hound when it comes to that kind of stuff. So, but I wanted to get her on because Carrie is an integral part of our team here at M. Edwards Realty and Land, and if you've got a residential real estate need, especially, Carrie is what I call our in-house residential guru. I think I put on the intro, she's our Top Gun residential agent. But Carrie's going to come in today. Thanks for being here first, Carrie. We're going to talk today about a lot of different things. We're going to touch on one of the things I want to Carrie to kind of share with you guys that I've got to know about her working with her is what led her to getting in a customer service business where you deal with people, helping them, find houses and work through their dreams and all that. So, Carrie, let's let you talk. I talk on here all week. So, tell me a little bit about why you got in real estate.
Well, I don't really know why I got in real estate. It just kind of happened, but I've always worked in customer service. That's always
Right.
been my thing. Before I worked here, I worked for Atmos Energy, and I worked well with the public. I mean, it was just something that I got to do, and I just learned that that is kind of not a gift, but I love to help people. And so whenever I started working for you, I noticed, I was getting to work with a lot of people, and so then that kind of led me to get my license. And then once I got my license and started kind of working, with listing houses, and then kind of buyers, helping buyers buy houses, I just figured out that that's kind of my thing, and I kind of specialize in helping. I mean, and I get a little carried away. I can almost do the whole thing for people if they let me. I am that kind of a person, but I like to help people that are my first time home buyers are my favorite because a lot of them don't have a clue of what's going on, and so I love to help them from the get go. And if there's nothing like starting out with them young home buyers, and then finishing out helping them buy their home. Same thing whenever I've gotten close to a lot of my clients. The ones that are at the other end of the spectrum that are they've lived in their home their whole life, and now they're selling and maybe moving to assisted living, or things like that, transitioning in life. So I think that real estate just kind of puts me in a place where I can help, and I really enjoyed it.
I remember when you started working here, and like you said, you came on originally working as a transaction coordinator, and all kind of came in to become an office manager. I mean, you wear a lot of hats around here, but I remember us talking a lot, and I was seeing in you just how even from the fact that you were in the back office more with the deals, you were getting involved with me even on my transactions and really getting invested in them. And to me, that's a sign of someone who's going to do good in this business
Yeah.
because you take it on. I mean, you want to.
Thank you. I think it's important. I think that you have to. I think from every standpoint, these are big transactions. Whether it's a $50,000 house or a $1 million farm that we're working on, it's a big deal. I mean,
Right.
there's lots of money involved, and so I like to do my part to help any way that I can.
Well, and I was just noticing we may have somebody try to walk in on film, and I have to get up in a second. But no, I agree. And Carrie, you brought up a great point just then that it can be a big transaction or it can be a small transaction to money wise, but to each person they're very important. And relatively sometimes the smaller transactions to a person can be a bigger deal than sometimes when a guy's doing moving $1 million property. And not to make light of any of them, but I love that about you because you put your solid effort in. You don't look at the dollar sign.
No.
And that's a good characteristic to have. Another thing, I don't do this a lot, but I didn't ask you to do this, but if you would reach over there and grab that deal that's up there on the counter. I showed that to you the other day. And Carrie knows me a lot too, and I'll tell you, yes, this is the first time I've ever even brought this up, and the only reason I'm doing it today, because I'm certainly not doing it trying to brag on anything I've done, but I wanted to give some credit while Carrie was here. Many of you guys know that we joined up with United Country last year. Some folks have still asked questions about what that means and how that goes. I think a lot of folks are starting to see why we did it, and it's certainly been a great partnership for us. But I wanted to talk about this award a little bit because this year at the convention, they had it in Florida. We didn't get to go, we were busy. But the thing I wanted to mention is we got a Summit Award. Summit Award is something that they give to some of their agents, to new brokerages that come on board. We have about 25 to 600 offices nationwide, and they recognize the top offices that are new recruits. And we got that award. And the reason I bring it up with Carrie sitting here is because we got that award. It's been a big part by a lot of what she's done to help us. And I just wanted to give you a little credit for that because it was a big move when we made that transition. And during that, it was a busy year, and Carrie just, you kept doing you kept your stuff going. You helped us get over and switched over. And, I'm not trying to embarrass you or anything. I wanted to really just let everybody know how much, we see as a vital part of what we do here. And, another thing that I wanted us to talk about a little bit, we've had a pretty big learning curve as we've come on board with United Country because we've seen a lot of things that we can do today that maybe would have been a challenge for us to do before. Carrie, I don't want to put Carrie in a box when I tell you that she's our residential guru because Carrie's got commercial property listed. Carrie can list farm and ranch. That's one of the unique things about being with a company like United Country because we've got really good resources. If we get a unique thing to do that we haven't done before, we've got that collection of agents all over the country that are all living in places like we do. When we went to United Power, I thought we were around a bunch of folks that lived in the same kind of places all over the United States that we live in. We're rural market real estate agents. We know our lane. We try to stay in it.
Exactly.
I mean, we love to help you go find a house if you want to look and love it. But I'll be the first one to tell you that we're not out there just listing a ton of homes in the big city of Lubbock. Not to say we couldn't do it. I believe we could stand toe to toe with anybody that does. But I will tell you that where we can really excel is when we get out here in these rural markets. Towns the size of Littlefield, Muleshoe, Sudan, Levelland, Plainview. I mean, any of those towns that size. But I say they're county seat towns and smaller. One of the things that I love about Carrie is not only is she our residential person, but she is our Littlefield residential agent because she's so plugged into the community. Tell us a little bit about your family.
Well, we've been in Littlefield our whole lives. Carrie and I both graduated from Littlefield, moved back, raised the kids. All three kids have gone through Littlefield High School, or all through the whole program. We've stayed, and I still have Kenny. My two older ones have graduated and moved on, and both of them live out of town. But Kennedy, our little one, she's going to be a junior in high school, so we're still out there in Littlefield. Personally, I try to stay involved in everything. We've got lots going on over there with the schools, lots of changes coming up. We've got lots of new teachers coming in. We've got, we got a new AD last year. We've got lots of changes going on in our school, and lots of new people coming into Littlefield, new people that I'm even just now learning, and people are really trying to get plugged into that little town and try to, help it grow. Same thing out here, I didn't know anyone when I came to Sudan, and so I've kind of become part of this little community. It's kind of been fun because we've even gone over the earth direction, and so it's been fun for me because I've not, I do feel like I know Littlefield. I feel like that's where I really feel the most comfortable. But I love the little markets too.
And again, I want to be careful when I'm saying these things because I don't want people to think I'm putting you in a box because it's like the fact I've seen though, you know how it is. When you're with that. If you're going to go to Littlefield, let me put it this way, if you're going to buy a house, you're crazy not to let her help you because she knows who not only bought that house or who lived there when she was a kid. She knows the market and she knows the community, But it's true. We get to know these local markets. One of the things I love about this business is I grew up here in Sudan, so I'm like you in Littlefield. I knew everything about Sudan. I knew everybody in Sudan. But through this business, I've got to know every community around here, and you have too.
Yeah.
And you get connected with a lot of people and have connection with them because the connections don't just stop after you sell the property.
No, that's the best part I think about real estate is the relationships that you build. I think that you're with people for. I mean, I have worked with people for 2 years to try to help them find a house, and it's a big deal. And I'm not one of those agents that's like, let's go look at a house, let's sign a contract. I'm one of those that I want you to love that house, and I think that it's important that you have somebody helping you that's not just, I don't want to really say chasing a commission, but I mean, my goal is for you to find a house that you're happy with, and my motto in this whole thing is what's meant to be is going to be. I think that's on the listing side, it's on the buyer side, but that's the fun part with me is I have met so many neat people, and still to this day, I really haven't had a transaction where I've just been like, we need to get that one over with. I'm sometimes kind of sad at the end because I'm done with them for a little bit. I still bother a lot of them. I will, see them, out in their yard or whatever they're doing. I'll stop and mess with them. But that's the fun part is the relationships that you gain.
Well, and I've watched with you and knowing doing this myself for several years, and I've had that comment. I made that comment after walking out of the closing. With folks that are moving or leaving, and you do kind of have a sad feeling there because they may not have any more real estate business to do with you, but you get to really know somebody when you're going through a real estate transaction. I've had several times where people, at the first, kind of had an idea what they thought it was that we do, and when they get to the end, they're kind of like, "Wow, I didn't realize all that was involved."
Yeah.
And especially with residential, I think there's a real I don't say misunderstanding. A lot of people have bought and sold a lot of homes, and so they understand. But if you haven't, when you walk in there that first time, you pull out all these disclosures and you say, "Hey, you need to fill these out," and they're like, "Well, I've never done this when I've sold before," and you're like, "Well, yeah. You're lucky." But I mean, at the same time, one of the things I love about working in this part of the country is that for the most part, most people want to do a good, honest, transparent transaction. And so you really do, you guide people through that because sometimes unknowingly, if you do something on your own, you just don't realize, oh, you were supposed to tell them that.
Right.
You were supposed to let them know that. Oh, okay, well, I didn't know that. And so those things.
Those are the things that wake you up at 3 a.m.
yeah, they do. Well, and another good thing I think that is really important when working with the people in real estate is also not just being able to work with that customer, but also being able to work with the other realtors.
Right, that's very
And Carrie has really got a knack for doing that. I've watched a lot of times. I nickname her around here Carrie the Closer, but it's because Carrie will keep the deal going because she is good with personal relations. I mean, in other words, she doesn't, get adversarial with people. She tries to work the deal. And I appreciate that when I see her doing that because our goal when we sign up to help you guys is to try to help you follow out your objective. Your objective being either to sell your house or buy your house, or whatever. I can't talk this morning. What other goals we have with the real estate deal? We have to be really sure that we align with those goals.
Right.
And so, one thing I wanted us to talk about. I know people always are asking this question. How many listings do you see out there in Littlefield compared to 2 years ago? I mean, what do you see in the market as far as a supply? Do you see a shortage of houses?
We have a little bit of a shortage going on right now. And when things come on the market, if they're ready to go, they're moving fast. We do have a supply and demand issue going on right now. Littlefield is, it's kind of, I know that we have some new people moving in, of course, every year we transition, but it's hard because there's not, usually we have a couple of houses in each price range that people can choose from because we have a small market, nonetheless. But now we are really, we're really short on houses.
Yeah, we need inventory. I mean, if you're thinking about listing a house,
we'd love to help.
And it's a good time still to be putting one on the market. There are some things that are pressuring the market a little bit now.
Sure. I think another important thing that people really could utilize us for is preparing your home. So
Absolutely.
maybe you're thinking about selling your house next year.
Mhm.
Give us a buzz. Ask us, what can I do to help sell my home faster?
Absolutely.
Because what people may not realize is there's different kinds of buyers. There's different qualifications for buyers. Some people qualify for conventional financing, which is, that's usually a pretty easy route to go. Whenever some people qualify for FHA loans, VA loans. When you involve those more government entity type lending um, loan types, then the home has to qualify. There's things that the government or the lending institution, they're looking at the home. There's things that you have to, that have to be changed, fixed at your home in order for them to go that route. So you'll sometimes see, like for instance, some of my listings come on and they may sit there a little bit longer, and you think, well, that one's been sitting there a little bit longer. Well, the issue is, whenever you get your home ready to sell and you open it up to the more buyers that you can open it up to, the better your odds are of selling that thing a little faster. So my thing is, I can come in, I can look at your house, and I can tell you, hey, these windows in these bedrooms have to open. That paint that's chipping off everywhere, FHA won't go that direction unless you're wanting to fix it. So if you're thinking about selling your home in the future, give us a buzz. We can run by there, and it doesn't take 5 minutes. I can go through there and say, hey, because when you do get ready to go on the market, you want to be able to price it right, and you want to be able to open it up to as many buyers as you can. When you limit, whenever you have big things wrong, then you limit your buyer pool. And so it's better to open it up. Why not be able to offer it to every buyer? So anyway, that's another thing that I think that people maybe, you know, don't know that we can help them with.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And I love listening to you talk about all that, because I mean that's just the things that you've learned over the years that you can share. Someone's selling a house and they haven't sold one in 10 years and don't think about these things, these little things. One thing I would tell somebody today, even if you're not thinking about selling your home, but you live in this market, in any of these markets that we serve, um, you know, don't be scared to go out and do some remodeling, but be picky at what you remodel. There's certain rooms that I'd like for you to talk about that a little. I mean, if you were going to go in and look at a house, I mean, what rooms that are being, if you go in and they're updated, which ones sell the house the most?
Well, the kitchen and the bathroom, period. And people are very picky about those rooms, and the reason is because it's so expensive to do it. So if you're wanting to sell and you're thinking, what can I do? It's simple little things. It doesn't have to be a gun.
Yeah.
It is just simple little things. A lot of times you can change a vanity and paint a bathroom, and kitchen. It doesn't have to be come in and put in granite or put in quartz or whatever you're thinking. It doesn't have to be huge in order to get a house ready. People like move in ready, and that is big. Whenever you're getting ready to move in somewhere, the last thing you want to do is remodel a house. You're ready, and you're on it. Most of the time, we've got people on deadlines. Like we need to get moved in, and we've got to start life.
Well, and it's easy, not to interrupt you, but to that point too, we see it all the time. It's a lot easier to borrow money to buy a house than it is to borrow money to remodel a house, especially if you're a young home buyer, entry level home buyer.
And too, by the time you get in the house, you spend every dime you've got trying to get closing costs and everything else. So a lot of times people don't have a lot of money left over. So if you're getting ready to sell, it's very important. You can, and I don't think that it necessarily runs the price by a whole lot. Now, if you do go in and do the good finishes, and if you go in, then you're going to make your money back on that, but or a certain percentage of your money back. But there's a lot that you can do to make a house look good that doesn't have to break the bank.
One of the things that I've noticed over the years is, and this is one that I think gets overlooked probably more than most, is the yard.
Oh, for sure.
Curb appeal. I know we get caught up on the insides of the house, but if you have the best house in the world and the yard's bad, it's going to be hard to sell that house.
Right. It is.
I mean, we've seen it over and over.
It's expensive to come in
It
and
is, and especially with the dry weather that we've had, keeping that yard green, keeping grass growing. Or if you're not going to want to water a yard a lot, then you need to come in with some type of landscaping that will work. Because I've seen some people do really nice Southwest type landscaping, but you're going to have to think about that. I think the other thing though that's been encouraging, we've been through a cycle. I know you've lived through it. You've had folks that worked out at the denim mill, or your dad worked out there, and you worked out there for a while. But we saw a cycle. Littlefield went through some hard times the last several years ago when they closed the mill. But the cool thing is I really do believe that we're on this upswing in these markets. You know, Sudan market's strong. Littlefield market's good. I'm amazed, you know, we were a little bit slow for a while in that earth market, but the earth market's been strong. We've probably, percentage-wise, sold per capita as many houses up in that earth market. Last Buddy market. Last Buddy market's been good. Muleshoe market has been really good. It's been pinch for supply for 2 years. I mean, there's just not a lot of houses. So if you're living in one of these markets right now, I wouldn't be scared to take good care of your home and try to keep it up to date. If you're not planning on moving right now, still, you know, down the road, some things you do to your house today and enjoy, and if you take care of it, it can really be there to help you down the road. So.
One thing I would like to mention too, if you're thinking about buying, say you're renting right now and you're thinking about buying, which everybody knows it's better to buy than to rent if you can, you know, if you've got the means to do it. If you are looking to buy, I like to help with the buying side as well. Have a whole list of lenders for every type, you know, different credit area, different credit score, you know, there's a lender for everybody. And so I've got kids that, you know, a couple years ago, maybe they asked me, what can I do to get ready to buy? And this is what you do. You kind of start saving, you work on your credit score, and then whenever it's time, we get you with the correct lender. And there's some great loan programs out there right now. So if you are in the market, or even thinking about, well, I might buy next year. You know, you can get with me, and I can help guide through that as well. Because that's a process.
And I've started to watch as your career has evolved, because you've been in this for a few years too. You've had a lot of these people that you cultivated along with that, and you know, I think the neat thing is you know, when you start helping people like that, you don't always know if you're going to end up representing them. But I've watched Carrie; she helps them, and you know, most of the time they come back because of the help you. But I mean, it really. She helps. I mean, and she tries to hook them up with the right person. I mean, you know, you can come in here with your lender, and we're going to work with whoever you've got. But a lot of times we have folks that just don't know where to even start. And so, you know, there's programs out there. You know, there's been some really cool loan programs last year or so. That there've been conventional programs that have helped first-time home buyers.
Oh, there is, and I don't know if I guess.
Well,
there's some great lenders out there. We have some programs that I'm working with right now that, you know, they're a no down payment conventional loan. They don't have PMI. They don't make people pay for a survey. I mean, there's some great loan programs out there, and they're specialized to help people buy their first home, and it's a great opportunity.
And I feel like that program's good too, because I think it doesn't try to put somebody in something they shouldn't be doing. It tries to help them and not hit them with some things that are hard for that first time home buyer. It really is seems like a really good program. So we're going to take a break for just 1 second, and we're going to be back. When we come back, Carrie and I are going to talk about track number 5 over at Earth. It's a residential listing that Carrie's kind of spearheading with us in our auction, our multi-parcel auction that's coming up next week on July the 14th. So we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
For all the reasons we at Realtree United Country Hunting Properties can list to buy your own hunting and recreational property, these have to be at the top. Contact your local Realtree Land Pro and turn your passion into possibilities.
All right. Well, Carrie, I know we've had a really good time over there getting that property ready to list. What was your, you know, what we're talking about this property, this multi-parcel. I don't know if many of y'all have heard about it. I'm hoping a lot of people heard about it. I know a lot of people have heard about it. But we've got a multi-parcel auction that we're going to be doing next week. We're going to actually be having that auction, conducting that auction over at the Bailey County Civic Center. It's a several tracts of land. Several of them are contiguous, meaning they touch, and homestead, barns, just a top to bottom great operation over there. But Carrie is really leading the deal with the house and the homestead. And I wanted to let her talk about it because what I want people to realize is that you're going to have the opportunity next week to come and have a chance to bid if you're interested in the house tract. Now, it is a multi-parcel, so there could be people trying to parcel that in and put that in and combine it with some others, but there will be open bidding to bid on that house, and there's a chance a person could buy the house outright. So, listen, I just want to let you talk about the property. What were your initial thoughts when you saw it?
Well, first of all, it is a beautiful property. It's on about 2 acres out there. You're kind of out in your own little world out there. It's real serene. It's quiet. They have done an excellent job. We were talking about landscaping. They have done an excellent job with landscaping. So when you pull into that place out there, it's just gorgeous. Um, you know, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. They had it remodeled several years ago, so it is, you know, it's freshly updated, move-in ready. You know, I mean, that thing is nice. Isolated master bedroom, which is oversized in my opinion. There's plenty of room for seating, and they've got pretty good sized furniture and bed, and they've still got a lot of space in there. The bathroom has been remodeled, very nice. The bedrooms, the bedrooms are all really good size. I personally love the kitchen. I think she did a great job on the kitchen. The granite, she's got pretty granite, backsplash. Everything just really flows good in that house. Probably my favorite part of the house is the laundry area. That I could probably just go back there and just hang out. It's kind of got, granite folding table, little office area, freezer space, and then you've got a little mud room back there. But I think the beauty of that place is the backyard. You walk out there and it is just amazing. These people, it blows my mind because we're the kind of people that, oh, we'll fix that later. Oh, we'll fix that later. You can tell that these sellers they have put the work into this property. So they have everything is just
Neat as
neat. Yes, it is. It's the neatest property. There's a generator back there. There's a cellar that you can open the door and you can see down there and it's clean. Most of the time that doesn't happen. They've got a pool set up over there. The trees just surround you, so you're just back there and it's quiet. And then you can go on back and then you've got that office back there. So I think like if you work from home, that or like me, if you need a place sometimes to go work and you need some quiet, that office back there is amazing. It's just an all around great property that we have. So I think it's a good one. It is being offered as a separate track. I had some questions and I'd like to address it, but we did put that thing in MLS. We did put that thing out there, and they said, well, it's got a price.
And it's listed as an auction
Yes,
house.
it
We
is.
do have a way to do that, but
Right. But we do have a price list. We do have a price on that because we had to put one. We had to just put a price out there. That doesn't mean that
that's not even open to bid.
It's not.
It's just the price we had to
That's
put.
right. We just wanted we wanted to push that property out to as many people as we possibly
And
can.
talking with them in MLS, trying to make sure that we did that right. They don't have a way not to put a price.
Sure.
So, but we in the remarks and in the public remarks, private remarks, we're sitting there telling everybody, this is
being offered.
Being offered. So, I would stress to you, get out there and come and look at the house because you'll have a chance to bid. And the thing about an auction is show up, be ready to raise your hand. Now there's a few things about the auction you bring up that we need to make sure people understand that are different than if you're buying a house just regular. First off, had the question come up, well, what if I've been working with another broker? Not a problem because we have it set up to where if your broker will register you as a buyer, that they can come and they can represent you at the sale. And they need to be actively engaged with you and they need to come with you to the auction. We will be using an auction sales contract, and you need to be coming in prepared to make a 10% down payment the day of the auction. Closing 30, as is. Some things that are different is it's not going to be a negotiation on how long to close.
Right.
You don't need to come in and make that 10% down payment if you haven't already secured, not pre-approved, but secured financing. And really that's something that we've seen a lot of this year. We've seen in this market anyway. Right. We've seen a lot of deals where people were doing financing on the back end, but they were cash buyers at close because that market was driving that. And so, I just want people to understand, if you got any questions and you just think, well, that auction deal might not work for me, call and ask us, because it doesn't cost anything to call and ask.
Right.
And our number is 806 686 6371. And you can call me and Carrie on our sales, but if you'll go through that 686-6371 during the day, normally Carrie's gonna answer it, but in the evenings you can go through that and get to either of us.
Right.
So do that, and also check out the entire Farm and Ranch auction website, because it's got a dedicated web page at texasfarmranchauction.com. And so we'll have that down in the discussion. I don't know if I put it in there today, but I'll try to go back and add that. But if you have any questions, give us a call. One other thing when we were talking about that property that I thought was worth mentioning is, you said that you made a comment, you don't feel like you're in West Texas. And when we say that, what we mean is, we all know, we love this part of the world, we love where we live, but every now and then you're ready to just kind of get to an escape or feel like you can go somewhere. Sometimes our jobs don't allow us to do that.
Right.
But that place in the evening, every evening, you could kind of feel like you might be in the edge of the.
And the trees are great because they block. We have wind almost every single day. Yeah. And like out of even my own place, we don't have a lot of trees around us, so we get that direct wind. All the times I've been out there, it's always windy here. We all know that, but you can't. The winds block it. It's just, and it's crazy because the birds are all out there. There's rabbits coming across. It's a different.
I was showing the house a couple of days ago, and some guy said, "I think that rabbit's not real."
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, it's real." We walked over there. We got like 2 foot from it, the pet rabbits. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a real charming place. We'd really like to get you in it. Auction's next Thursday, so there's still time to get out and look at it. But we do need to get you in so we can get you qualified, registered for the sale. There's some paperwork that would need to be filled out. So call us if you have any questions on that. Now, before we end today, I just wanted to talk briefly for a second about some things that we've got coming up in the next few months. We're kind of getting to the middle of what I call our summer season for selling houses, and I think there's this feeling with a lot of people that the market, and I would have used to have agreed with this, that the market really does slow down in the winter. But what have you seen the last few years?
It just continues. I mean, now summer does slow down just a little bit because people are traveling, getting ready for school. Sometimes August will slow down pretty good for us. Right. But then it just seems like we've been picking right back up, and we move all the way every quarter, it seems like.
I've seen, like, to me, it's like what you're talking about. You'll get the week school starts, maybe the first week that people are back in school. Yeah, we'll have kind of a little slowdown. But then once people kind of get shifted into that next gear, I think the market has evolved or changed or whatever the word is, where people used to think about things annually. I think now it's more in a quarterly cycle. I really do believe that.
And I do think it's too supply driven. And so, as people start, deciding, well, I think I'm going to sell my house. Well, you put your house on the market. Well, then you've got this person that's just been waiting on something else to come, and it just starts that cycle over and over.
Yeah, sometimes we have what we call fruit basket turnover here. We just we've had 3 or 4 houses, all people moving. But one thing I would say about that with that cycle is, I think a lot of times what we run into is people wait a little while, wait too long to get into a cycle. Like, they may think, I'm going to sell my house this fall. Yeah. If I'm going to sell my house this fall, you need to be talking to us now. because we want to come out, like Carrie said, we don't want to. I'm going to tell you, we're not going to be the realtor that's going to come out most times and say, we'll have a sign in your yard this afternoon. Because we're going to get your house prepped. We're going to if you want us to, we're going to tell you what you need to do. Now, we have people that come up sometimes and say, look, I want to sell it like it is, and we can do that. But a lot of times people want us to come out and say, well, what do we need to do? Yes. And I'm going to tell you, if you've got the time to do that, time is on your side in real estate. If you don't paint yourself in a corner with time. So if you're thinking about selling, even if you're not sure yet, but you think you might want to sell before the end of the year, now's the time to be talking about that. For one thing, getting pictures and stuff while the yard's still green. Right. And we love doing that, because once we get to the winter, we're always just waiting for it to get green again. We're doing our pictures and stuff. But so give Carrie a call. Carrie, you got anything else before we go?
I think I do. I have some good listings. I'm a little low on inventory right now. Got a couple of really good listings over in Littlefield. I'd like to plug one I got out there in the Buddy area. That is a neat property. It's got a couple of really nice homes, two great barns, and a bunch of little, I think it sits on about 6.5 acres out there. From what I understand, and I'm not from the area, but Buddy's a good, good little school system out there, and that property is just, help me, north, I guess.
Yeah, north and slightly west.
Yeah. And so anyway, great property out that direction.
And an arena too.
Yes, it does have an arena.
Partially
That's
completed.
right.
It's not
It
complete.
does. It's a neat property. You just have to see it because it's got so much. It's just a huge.
And in line with the same thing, similar with the one in Earth, with the fact of the trees.
Right.
Gobs of trees out
It is.
there.
It's a neat property. Over in Littlefield, got a couple of listings up right now. Really big, great home over on 12th, which is our little older area over in Littlefield, but love it. Just a beautiful neighborhood over there. So if I can help you in any way, call me or text me. Morning, noon, or night. I'm always around. So.
And you just real quick, you mentioned that 12th, 11th, those streets back in there. I think a lot of times that's a little gem that people miss in Littlefield because there are some really nice houses down
there.
there.
And here lately, that's been a real popular area because those houses are big.
Yeah.
So, nowadays when you build a house, you're paying a lot per square foot, so your rooms are small. Well, you can go in that area, and a lot of people have been buying and they're working on those homes, and so they're really making that area over there look good. And when you buy a home, your bedrooms are huge over there.
Yeah.
So
you don't really need open concept
in
those homes. They're big.
No, so. That's right.
Oh, that's true. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to get her back on here some more. If you got comments and have any questions, please comment. Use our comments at gunandsaddle.com email. And we appreciate y'all joining us. We're going to go to one more commercial and then we'll be done. So thanks for being here for Gun and Saddle.
The time has come to sell, but who can you trust to help? This isn't just dirt. It's the place your children took their first deer.
Honey, that's a giant.
The value of the timber is the old wooden stand you just can't bring yourself to tear down. The roads may be gravel, but they access countless memories. This is more than lines on a map. It's your small piece of heaven.
Heck yeah.
This is your property, and that's why we want to be your agent. Realty United Country. Turn your passion into possibilities.
Thanks for watching Gun and Saddle, a United Country M. Edwards Realty and Land weekly broadcast. Have an idea for a future episode, comments, or suggestions? Email us at comments@gunandsaddle.com. Remember to subscribe or follow us today. Join us again next week for a deeper look at the land we all love and the people that call it home. This is Gun and Saddle.